Oh, it is ugly. The Portland's there. I mean, you know what? It's industrial. It's actually kind of neat to drive through there. But
it could be more.
Imagine this. The way you might imagine some of the land around what was Expo 86 in Vancouver or Expo 67 in Montreal, a beautiful park area that goes on for acres and acres. And that's exactly what could happen if Toronto wins the bid for the Expo 2025. I wonder why all those flashing lights are there, but never mind. Kristyn Wong-Tam is here, and she is going to try and change the minds of at least breakfast television viewers.
Yes.
You saw our poll just a few minutes ago. Overwhelmingly, viewers who have not been informed yet from you, no, they don't want it. So we're going to reset the poll starting now. Go to bttoronto.ca. And why should we support Expo 2025?
Well, it's an international branding opportunity for our country. We know that we can produce more housing, more transit, more waterfront revitalization, but oftentimes we haven't had 3 levels of government support. And we all know sometimes bringing government together to build projects is not easy. So one of the reasons why we really want to support Expo and why we think that more citizens should be supporting Expo is that it brings us together to develop the Portlands, which is actually a very significant parcel of land, as you've just seen on the screen. It's 460 acres of land specifically designed to host the fair. We bring international delegates abroad. The nations that come to participate to build the pavilions, they pay for it themselves. So it's no cost to the taxpayers, and we have a chance to foster direct foreign investment, promote global cultural tourism, to rebrand our country, to develop over 50,000 person-year jobs of employment. The investment going out is far exceeded by the returns coming in, which includes $4.37 billion nationally of GDP.
So almost
so that's significant.
$2 billion to actually pull this off, and you're saying a return of $4 billion in terms of tourism dollars.
No, not $4 billion. It's 4.37 billion of global GDP, sorry, national GDP, but it also brings in direct tax revenues of $1.26 billion. So it practically pays for itself, not to mention that it's all shared by 3 orders of government. We have the private sector support behind us. Rarely do we have ever seen the CEO of the stock exchange walk through the halls of city council and say that he and his stock exchange with the 1,600 publicly listed companies are supporting the Expo. And why is because they actually need a platform, a global platform, to promote Canadian business.
This is why I'm for it. This is 6 months.
6 months.
And it's infrastructure being built a lot by the private sector and by other nations as well. It is not we don't have to build a stadium or anything like that. I was against the Pan Am Games. I'm against our bid for the Olympic Games because that's 2 weeks. And then it's over and done with. Yes, we're left with a bit of infrastructure, but this is 6 months of showing off Toronto around the world. So how much, the problem is, there's a bid process first.
Which costs 10 to 15 million.
So that's what we have to talk about first is, should we be even bidding? And a good chance we might lose.
Well, you know, if we don't bid, what we say is that there are other cities that are better at doing this, that there are other cities that should be more global and more public-facing. And those bidders that we're going to be competing against are most likely Paris, Manchester, and Osaka. And I don't believe that Toronto can't compete. I actually believe that we have the ingenuity, the resourcefulness to bring the world to Toronto, to showcase the very best of Canada.
Okay, Winston, really quickly, you've put the poll back up. Right now. Now, it was 70% against a few minutes. Now, this is early. We're going to take a look at it again at 8 o'clock. So what are the initial results right now?
The initial votes, we've only had about 10 people vote, and it's sitting exactly 50-50.
Can I add this? Because we mentioned this also during the break. The 10 to 50 million that would be required for the bid, you said would be taken care of by investors.
Yeah, the private sector has stepped out in full force. We've actually never seen this type of galvanizing support, not just from the private sector, but from the arts and the community and labor groups.
And so tax dollars.
Well, there is a shared cost. I mean, you know,
it will cost some
absolutely,
tax dollars,
and it should cost, because this is not the private sector's Expo. This is the citizen of Canada's Expo. And with 30 million visitors specifically coming to Toronto to visit the Expo, they won't all stay in Toronto. They're going to travel to definitely Niagara Falls. It's a major national attraction.
They're going to go to Barrie.
They will. Cultural tourists will travel and see the entire city and region.
See the spirit catcher. It's amazing. Okay, so the poll, like I said, just opened. So now you know the facts. Let us know what you think. We'll re-examine that in a few minutes. Thank you very much, Kristyn Wong-Tam.
Thank you, Councillor.